In this, the final part of a series of videos looking in detail at Plait's new care planning module, we'll be exploring how changes can be made to a service user's care plan after it has been published, and how these changes are communicated to the care workers who are responsible for that service user's day-to-day care. As I mentioned in the earlier video, when we created an initial care plan for Eileen Douglas, once a care plan has been published, it cannot be modified in any way. If I want to change any aspect of that care plan, including details relating to tasks or outcomes, I need to revise it. Essentially, this means creating a copy of the care plan and then making changes to that copy rather than to the original document. Just as every service user's initial care plan is effective dated, so are care plan revisions. This means that the contents of a service user's revised care plan won't be seen by their care workers until a date of your choice. And if you're modifying tasks, those changes will only apply to events falling after that date. To begin creating a revision for a service user's care plan, visit their Care Plan tab and click on the button marked Revise Care Plan. If the service user's organization has more than one available care plan structure, I will need to choose which structure to use. By default, the structure of the care plan that I am revising will be selected for me here, provided that this structure is still available for use by the service user's organization. Perhaps my organization's care plan structure has been changed recently. By copying it, making changes to that copy, and then putting a cannot be used after date against the original structure. In that case, that original care plan structure will no longer be available for me to select here, and I'll need to select the new structure. If I do choose a different structure to that of the original care plan, there is a possibility that some of the information from that previous document will not transfer across. However, if the selected structure is based upon the original, and if I avoided changing field names, the number of fields that cannot be pre-filled in the revised care plan will be kept to an absolute minimum. In this case, the structure used by Eileen's original care plan is still available, so I'll use the default selection here. When I click OK, a draft care plan revision is created for me, and this is pre-filled with the contents of Eileen's initial care plan. Now I can begin modifying these details as required. The first change I need to make is to remove one of Eileen's two aliases, as she has recently indicated a dislike for the name Lena. On the Background tab, Eileen's original care plan noted that she does not have a key safe. This has recently changed, so let's modify that now. Another recent change to Eileen's living arrangements is that she now uses a mobility scooter when outside the house. Let's add this to her mobility summary. As Eileen no longer feels able to make her twice-weekly community centre visits, I should remove the action and activity relating to this here. While I'm here, let's add a mention of Eileen's mobility scooter to the regular neighbourhood walks action. As time goes by, there are likely to be new needs, concerns and problems to add here. Let's add one relating to the poor condition of Eileen's skin. Here we'll define a goal for this new problem with actions and activities of drinking more fluids at breakfast time and drinking more fluids during the night. On the Outcomes tab, we can modify existing outcomes and add any new outcomes that may have become relevant. I'll add a new outcome for remaining hydrated. On the Tasks tab, we can change existing tasks we can add new tasks and we can remove any tasks that are no longer required. That's all of the changes needed to this particular revision of Eileen's care plan. Provided that all of the required fields have been filled, I can publish this revision just as I did the original care plan by clicking here and selecting the appropriate effective date, which must be in the future. Let's choose next Monday, 1 week after the original care plan became effective, as the effective date for this revision. The Care Plan tab will be updated to reflect that this care plan revision has now been published. Revised care plan is provided again for the next revision that might be required to Eileen's care plan. If we take a look at Eileen's lunchtime task session this Friday, we'll notice that Accompany to Community Centre appears here. This is because As of this date, Eileen's initial care plan is still effective. However, if we click on the same task session in the following week, we'll see that a company to community centre no longer appears because on this date, Eileen's revised care plan is effective and that task was removed. If we double click on one of Eileen's evening visits, we'll notice leave out a water bottle by the bed appears here. This is because this event occurs after the new care plan revision has become effective, and that task is one that we added to Eileen's evening task sessions. Let's take a look now at how her revised care plan will be presented to Eileen's care workers through the Plait Mobile app. Here's Will Kane's homepage for today, before the revised care plan becomes effective. Notice that the flashing book does not appear alongside Eileen's name. This is because Will has already reviewed the contents of her initial care plan. However, if I use this button to scroll forward to next Monday, we can see that the flashing book does now appear. This is because a revision to Eileen's care plan that Will has not yet familiarised himself with becomes effective on this date. I'll drill down to one of Eileen's events on May 23rd and then click on the flashing halo around Eileen's name to access the care plan relevant to that date. This is the care plan page that we've looked at before, but as described by this red banner, we're in a mode here where things work a little differently. Rather than seeing the entire care plan, in this mode we're only shown the differences between the new revision of Eileen's care plan and the earlier document, allowing us to focus on changes to her care plan that we are not currently aware of. Old values are shown here in red and new values in green. I can swipe away the banner, freeing up more screen space for looking at changes to Eileen's care plan below. Under demographics, we can see the alias that has fallen out of favour with Eileen, crossed out. Under background, we see the changes made to Eileen's living arrangements. Sections of text that were removed are shown here in red and crossed out, with the new text that has been inserted shown around it in green. Here is the new paragraph that I added to Eileen's mobility information. Under Care and Support Plan, the action and activity that I removed relating to Eileen's community centre visits is crossed out. Notice how the need, concern or problem that I added relating to Eileen's skin condition is shown in full. Of course, this is because Will has not seen any of that information before. Under Tasks, we can see the increased frequency of the Tidy Kitchen task, the addition of outcomes to those existing tasks, the task that I removed relating to the community centre visits, and the new task I added for the evening water bottle. And finally, under Outcomes, we can see tasks where there are now fewer outcomes selected, changes to the existing description of the outcomes, and any new outcomes that have been added. This drop-down can be used to switch between the three different modes that are provided when viewing a care plan revision from this page. Either we can highlight the changes, which means showing the full care plan with changes highlighted in red and green. Don't highlight the changes, which means the full care plan is shown without highlighting the changes, or only show the changes, which is the mode that we've just been looking at. Before wrapping up, let's take a look at how Eileen's care plan revision will look if I select Highlight the Changes. Notice how the unchanged information is now included along with all of the red-green changes that we were previously looking at.